Have you ever thought, I have to code dungeon generation? Do I need it? No, but can I make it? I've made the experience copyable so code can be found in the description. But before you face the insanity of the code behind this, let me justify myself. My first thought was to create a virtual graph of the dungeon and translate it into an actual dungeon and UI map if needed. But I quickly realized that it's going to be React for the dungeons, and the last thing I want to do in my life is write React. So I'm generating rooms in the workspace, skipping all this nerd stuff. In my algorithm, each room has a cell, which is just some square space reserved for this room, and each cell has 4 sides where it can have targets. Targets are the places for potential cells. Having targets belong to specific sites make it possible to assign coordinates to cells and targets. So the target on the top of the current cell will have the same x and y plus 1 coordinates. On the right, x plus 1 and y coordinates. With this grid I can ignore any collision checks when placing a new room. Once a random target for the next room is selected, the cell occupies the target space and rooms are connected. Dungeon generated with these rules will look like this. The next thing I've added is the ability for the cell side to reference another cell and dungeon of these rooms. In this version, any room can be connected with any other room. I've implemented the ability to restrict which rooms can be placed on the target. It makes it possible to have a room hallway structure. Room can only be connected to hallways and hallways only to rooms. Also, to avoid hallways to nowhere, rooms have higher priority. On each iteration, the algorithm tries to place a room, and only when there is no place for the room, it places hallways. To be able to generate more complex structures, I've had the ability to limit the number of the connections a room can have. It's done with the max connections attribute. So this example have 4 rooms and all of them are in the basic room folder, which means all of them are just variants of basic room. When the algorithm needs to place basic room, it will select one of the variants based on the weight attribute. Variants with more weight will be selected more often. And the next 2 examples are built on top of how my generator is called in code. My generator is a module script with a single function. When calling this function, I'm specifying starting room, when generator should stop, which rooms it should place on the current iteration, and how to connect rooms. So in all previous examples, rooms were connected by just destroying doors between them. But this concept can be expanded to create, for example, more complex hallways. And by playing this concept of rooms for the current iteration, we can have limited number of special rooms in the dungeon. Room sets are here, code is here. Good luck.